Okay, so I was just playing some Yu-Gi-Oh games, some Goat format, and I just was kind of like I want to make a video. So here I am making a video. Um, Basically, what I wanted to talk about today was just reasoning and MonsterGate, just as like an engine in various strategies, right? So I mean, like it's nothing new that the reasoning in MonsterGate deck is like an actual deck in Goat format. People like know about it. It's just this like fairly explosive chaos deck that allows people to just kind of like go out the gate by summoning a bunch of monsters with like reasoning or like a definite monster with MonsterGate here, and then killing their opponent with like multiple chaos sorcerers and multiple um, big monsters like Air Knight, Demok, Jinzo, stuff like that, right? Um, so recently on GoFormat.com, Noel Evelyn has been doing very, very well playing a reasoning gate style deck. Just impressive win rate. In the latest Format Library Championship, she got top four. And it was kind of an unorthodox deck. I don't have it up here, but it sort of looks similar to what I'm presenting you right now. Just with instead, let's actually show you here. Instead, she was running something like this without the Air Knights. So just imagine here, 3 without Air Knight and a Crane, right? Um, something similar. Just the idea behind the deck, though, is that the Thunder Dragons and these Toon Table of Contents to find the Toon Cannon Soldier just like thins your deck, and so that when you go ahead and actually activate Reasoning or get the Cannon Soldier for the Monster Gate, like you're just likely to hit like either Crane to draw the card and extend into it, or a big monster like Jinzo or Demok, right? And what I realized when I first saw the deck, I was very confused because obviously, like you see this kind of deck and you see like Thunder Dragons, it's like you don't really want to hit Thunder Dragon off of Reasoning. That's just like not ideal. Um, but when you do open the Thunder Dragon, obviously like you discarded it out of your deck, and then same thing with opening the Toon Table of Contents. Like you're able to just go through your deck by 4 cards and just get rid of this Toon Cannon Soldier, which is like a target from Reasoning that's like out of your deck. And it also like you can set this card, and obviously the application of it just being Cannon Soldier to add extra damage onto your opponent just to kill them is important as well. And what I realized is this is the same approach that I took when I played my Mash Driver deck, right? My Mash Driver FTK that was kind of the same concept as just looping Dark Magician of Chaos with Dimension Fusion here, just summoning it over and over again after sending it off with a Cannon Soldier or a Mash Driver, and having spell economics so that doesn't kill you here. So you don't kill yourself from Dimension Fusioning over and over again. Well, you can't activate it if you don't have 2000, but I digress. So Noel's deck is just summon a bunch of monsters, like make a big board, go, or like summon a bunch of monsters and just like kill you, right? This deck is in the same kind of vein. I'm obviously like I'm not playing an explosive kind of like Thunder Dragon because I've tried the deck, and maybe it's just I'm not good at it or good with it, or mainly I kind of just feel that Air Knight is kind of a better catch-all because just opening up with Reasoning, because if you don't actually get like the Thunder Dragon and you have Reasoning, you could Reasoning and then potentially of like, yeah, if they call 4, that's the one that they're most likely to hit, but now you have like 4 other targets that you could hit off of it that actually get you like a card that is applicable to like the situation here, right? Instead of something like crappy like a Thunder Dragon, because Thunder Dragon's just crappy, doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's just like a body on board, but at least like Air Knight, you can reasonably attack and draw a card and set yourself up for next turn, right? In the past, I would play traps in my deck, stuff like Ring of Destruction, stuff like Dust Tornado and Call of the Haunted. But I feel like those cards aren't actually like necessary anymore, especially in this kind of deck. It just kind of like you open up these hands with these cards that just like don't do anything, and not that they don't do anything, it's just they're not like proactive in your strategy here, right? Which is counter to something like Lightning Vortex or like monster incarnation, even brain control in some matchups there. Because if people just like summon a monster, like some warrior decks will summon a monster against you, you can brain control that monster and then monster gate their own guy into something. Um, but of course, I can't really let the Dimension Fusion deck go. The Mass Driver deck here. So I would always want to have like a tech spell economics in the deck here, just because if you are running some kind of cannon soldier, just being able to just loop, like do the DMOC loop with it, just seems pretty substantial to me. Just like being able to FTK your opponent or OTK your opponent out of nowhere just with the stupid, like, yeah, it's a 4-card loop, but it's not like hard to do, right? Like Reasoning and Monster Gate find you these cards, and now you're playing Toon Table of Contents, which actually finds you those cards. So it's just like it just seems much better to in this kind of like style than I was doing before. Now, I used to not be a fan of Toon Cannon Soldier because of the application of like needing to attack, right? Um, if you're playing this kind of strategy and like you summon the Toon Cannon Soldier, it can't attack, and that's actually sometimes it's like, oh, since I didn't actually get enough monsters for Toon Cannon Soldier to launch off and kill you with, I actually might need that extra 14 points of damage, which is a sacrifice that I think you may need to be willing to make, and I'm starting to make in other decks because just being able to search it out of your deck and just have that monster to monster gate, right? Like the fact that this is, is a level 4 too, so you can set it and then monster gate on top of it is absolutely insane. Um, it just seems like you'd want to run it over regular Cannon Soldier the more and more I think about it, despite the actual application of you not being able to attack with it. That's just the sacrifice that you're gonna have to make, and you'll have to just play smarter to get around that. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to show this deck first, was just like, okay, look, this is like what a normal like standard, I guess, like I guess the new standard of Monster Gate Reasoning deck would look like. Ooh, don't want to undo that. Whoops. So if we move over to the new and improved version of Mass Driver, this is what I've been testing online, and it's pretty gosh darn consistent. Basically, it's just the new tech is running Toon Table of Contents over the like in the Toon Cannon Soldier slot here, and to make room for that, you're not playing reloads anymore. What I realized was that reload was not really great in this deck. Mainly because what would happen is that you would get like a hand and then you couldn't like do anything with that hand or whatever. And yeah, you'd want to like reload it away, but the problem with reload is that it puts you down a card, and that's something that this deck just like can't really afford to do. So yeah, I mean, like, it's possible for you to like not open action, right? Like there's a lot of hands that are possible with this deck that just don't work, right? They just are not good. However, what Toon Table of Contents and what the Toon Cannon Soldier allow you to do is that if you open this card with like, again, a monster gate, it's gonna get you to one of your jars, and if you have the necessary books to start using the jars with, you can get there. Or if so, like, you open Toon Cannon Soldier, monster gate, and like this, and then at least 2 other spells, and maybe like 1 book or whatever, you could it puts stuff in your graveyard for spell reproduction, that you can probably like book into with your jars here. I still think the jar engine is just like the best kind of engine that you'd want to play to actually like get you to your spells and everything. Um, Obviously the toolbox applications of Monster Gate and Reasoning here, along with spell reproduction, and then the combo piece in Dark Magician of Chaos, is pretty important as well. Something that I was playing for a little bit was Scapegoat, in this 39th card slot, but instead I opted to play Card Destruction, just because sometimes it's just actually better to discard your hand, plus you can like discard DMOC if it's stuck in your hand, and then draw like into something that you can reasonably win the game with. It just is actually, and like, yeah, I mean, it's just like sometimes you just need that extra draw power, and I was feeling that like stalling a turn with Scapegoat isn't doing anything. You just want to be like explosive as possible. Still keep the soul release just in case. You need something as a backup plan to, like, if you don't summon the Dark Mission of Chaos, or you can't use premature on it, or like, or something. So being able to soul release and then defusion, get back defusion with DMOC is like, soul release your own DMOC and even your combo piece and June Cannon Soldier there, and then get everything back is pretty important. Um, and in the side deck as well, I mean, it's sort of changed a little bit. I think I'm maxing out on more chaos stuff now. Basically, what it is it's very hard to like to side something like totally completely different. But the idea is that you want to keep the same engine here, but again, once you show them that you're on a jar package, you can side out the jar package and then play something like a standard like reasoning gate deck. Obviously, we're keeping the combo in. This was something that I neglected to do in the FL that I played this in, was that I would actually side the combo out, which, like, in hindsight, I was like, what am I like thinking? Just thinking about this strategy as a whole, it's like, well, the tools are already all there to support me. Why am I siding the combos pieces out? Is it because like they just don't do anything in the matchup, or like because they're just cards that they're the pieces and they're not actually the cards that like win you the game? And it's like, well, no, the pieces, like, when they're assembled, actually like win the game, right? So this, like, I would always keep maybe at least one or two economics in. You could probably just side the mass drivers out, mainly because like you just don't need the mass drivers since you have the dude cannon soldier. The mash drivers are just basically like third copies of the cannon soldier that you like can't find off the tune table of contents. Um, Again, the reason why cannon soldier is so good is because you can just thin your deck by a bunch of like by however many cards, these 3 cards, 4 cards, I mean, I guess. And then you find that target for Monster Gate. So what this also does is just like, it makes your reasoning numbers so good, because like now if they call 4, that's just like a guarantee hit, right? Because they don't know what they're ever gonna like get off of it. So you could just like reasoning, like reliably reasoning, hit 4, and then like if you have Monster Gate on top of it, you just like Monster Gate and then get into like the other guy, right? Um, it's just like you're playing your odds so well with this kind of deck that it's like reliably consistent and can FTK your opponent, and it's pretty good in GOAT format. Like, it's, people think that again it's a format of like over time, like, I'm just gonna win, like better players gonna win because they're just playing, like, it's just like a skillful format, just a like card advantage matters, life points matter, whatever. And that's still true. I mean, like the majority of the goat decks that are widely played, like goat control, obviously like chaos, it's still very skill intensive, and like a deck like this is very hit or miss. I wouldn't say, okay. Let me rephrase that. It's very hit or miss, in like you're going into an environment trying to catch your opponent off guard kind of thing. Like, if people obviously know about the deck, and if you're playing against the people who know about the deck, then they'll understand what to do and like what numbers to call off of reasoning. They'll understand like what they need to do in order to beat you. Um, but if they can't do those things, then I mean, you could just win. Um, yeah, so it is still a deck that I think that when you're going into an environment, you need to know the environment that you're bringing it into, and you need to say, is this the right choice for this particular environment? Whether that's the online ladder on goformat.com, whether it's a format library championship, whether it's your local meta, whether it's just randoms on Dueling Book. Yeah, so this isn't gonna be like an edited video or anything. I just don't really care or have the time to go back and edit it and make it presentable. I just kind of wanted to share thoughts that were rambling in my head. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this, but if I do post this, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that other crap. Again, go to goatformat.com. Join the Discord there. Let's play some Goat rank games, and let's have some fun.